Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we've got a good one for you today. We've got a default Divi header up here. We're going to show you how to put an image background behind it. It's really easy to put colors behind there, but there's no real obvious way of putting an image behind there, but it's very easy. Of course, if you've got a custom header, you can just use the section background or row background or whatever you're using. We'll also show you how to do the fixed navigation. That's when you scroll. If you watch those two little eyeballs up there, when I scroll down the page, they'll disappear. That's just another little image that we put in for the fixed nav, and we'll show you how to do that later on in the video. So before I start today, I'd just like to thank you guys. I haven't posted for about a week. I usually post 2 or 3 videos a week. Several people have reached out to me to ask me if I'm okay. Thank you so much. That really warms my heart. Yes, I'm absolutely fine. Thank you. I had to take a week off. I went down. It was my daughter's wedding down in Costa Rica. And unfortunately, I just didn't have time to pre-record some videos. But we're back in the saddle now. Just wanted to thank those people that reached out to me. That was very kind of you. And I do appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, well, let's get started. I'll revert this back to how it is usually. Okay, great. Well, I've put it back to the default here. We've got the usual default Divi header up there. So if you want to add a background, let's go down to the dashboard. I'm going to go down to my media library here and choose an image. Now I've already got mine uploaded. They don't have to be that shape. I've just made them that shape for convenience. You can use any size image and make it cover or stretch to fit whatever you're doing, and I'll show you how in just a moment. I've got the actual images themselves here. That's the first one I want on the primary. So I've got to find out the URL for it. So I'm going to click on it. Just down here, we've got the file URL. We're going to need that in a minute. So let's write a little bit of code here. To find out what we need to write, I'm going to right click. I'm going to inspect this. I'm using Google Chrome with the great inspector tools. Most browsers have this today, but if yours doesn't, Google Chrome is a free download. When I right clicked, it's highlighted what I'm clicking on here, which is actually main header. And if we look here, it's got an ID of main header, CSS ID. So that's basically a name we can identify it by to tell it we want to add a background to it with CSS. So I'm going to double click on that. I'm going to copy it, Control C. Let's go down to the dashboard again. I'll open it in a new tab for convenience here. And you can either go to Appearance, Customize and use the additional CSS panel, or you can go down to Divi and Theme Options. That takes us to this page. Under the General tab, we roll down to the bottom. We've got a custom CSS field, which is exactly the same as its additional CSS panel. I'm going to pop my cursor in there. I'm going to hit the return a couple of times to bump anything that's there down, or you can put this on the bottom if you like, but I'm going to put it on top. Always good idea if you're writing CSS to give it a title. It makes it easier to find, especially if somebody edits your site after you. And the title is // // anything that you write within those stars will not be read as code, so it's a great place for titles and notes. And we'll say header background. Okay, we copied that ID of main header. All IDs, when you write them as code, has to have a hashtag in front of it. And then the name that we copied, Control V to paste the name in there. Great. So we're targeting our main header now. Let's open and close some curly brackets. I'm going to say background. I'm going to put a colon. And we need to give it a URL. So I'm going to say URL. I'm going to open some round brackets now. Inside those round brackets, we need to put the URL of the image that we just got before. You can either select it, left click like that, or you can just say copy URL to clipboard with a little button. It'll tell you it's copied. We can go back in between the two little round brackets there, Control V to paste. We can put in our little JPEG image. Now, I want mine not to repeat because it's going to cover the whole thing. So I'm going to say no dash repeat. And I want it to be centered. So I'm going to put a gap. I'm going to say center. So it's going to be in the center of the image there. But I do want it to cover the whole of the background. So I'm going to put a semicolon. I'm going to drop down. I can say background size, dash size, colon. Then I'm going to have mine cover, and you can have fit, you can have any of the other regular CSS attributes there. So if we've done that correctly and we save this now, that should put that image behind our background. I'm going to hit my save changes till we get the little green check mark. If we go back to our site now, get rid of my inspector for the minute, I refresh, you'll see we've got that image in the background. I'm just going to switch that logo out because it doesn't look particularly good and change the color of my writing here so that we can see it. I'm sure you know how to do that, but for anybody that doesn't, let's go back down to our dashboard. This time we'll go into our Customize under Appearance. That will take us to this page, which shows your home page on the right hand side here. Header and navigation. This is our primary menu up here. Primary menu bar. I want to make that text white in color so we can actually see it. Obviously, make yours whatever color works for you. Now that's not quite a bright white. The reason is the opacity slider, this variegated slider here, is not all the way up. If we pull it all the way up, it should be a nice bright white, which is just exactly what I want. Fantastic. Once you've done that, make sure you hit the publish. And for our logo, we can do that in the theme options where we put our code in just now at the top of the page, where you put your logo in for anybody that didn't know. I'm going to hit that upload button. I've already got a light version of it in my library somewhere. There it is right there. I'm going to hit the Set as Logo button. Again, make sure you hit your Save Changes. If we go back now and refresh, we should be able to see everything. Fantastic. Well, that works for me. Now, if we roll down the page, you may notice that that writing has disappeared. Once you roll down this page, when the writing disappears, we're no longer looking at the primary menu bar. We're looking at what they call the fixed navigation settings. So to make that writing white also, so I can still see it, we'll go back to our customizer where we were before. We roll up to the top and go back from the primary menu bar. Down below, we've got fixed navigation settings. I'm just going to change the link color to that same white. And again, hit the publish. Now, when I roll down the page, you can see everything. Need to update that so it's got my new logo. I'll just refresh this. We'll go back to this other page here and refresh this page. Now this is great. I'm going to roll down. But if you wanted to, you could have a completely different image for the fix now. So when it scrolls down about this far, that image in the background is going to change. If you want to do that, again, that's really easy to do. Let's just roll down a little bit so we're using the fixed header. I know you can't see any difference at the moment because we made it all the same. But now, if I right click and inspect this, if we look along the highlighted bit here, there's a class name that says ET fixed header. I'm going to double click on that. I'm going to copy it, Control C. We'll go back to our code in the theme options here. Roll down back to the code. I'm going to drop down from our little closing curly bracket there. This is a class name. All class names, unlike CSS IDs, have a dot or a period in front of them rather than a hashtag. So there's dot, Control V. I'm going to paste in the class name. Now, what I can do, I can copy all of this from the opening curly bracket to the closing curly bracket inclusive. Control C to copy. Got my cursor after our little class name there. Paste it in there, Control V. All we need to do is switch out that URL now to the one that we want. So if I go back up to the media library, I've got the image I want to switch it out with, which is exactly the same. It's just without the eyeballs. Obviously, you'll have something more imaginative than that. I've done this quite quickly. I'm going to copy that URL, hitting the button. Now, if we go back to our theme options, all I need to do now is paste my new URL in between the round brackets there. hit the Save Changes button. Now if we go back, get rid of the inspector and refresh the page. If I roll back up to the top, here's our initial images with the eyeball. If I roll down, you'll see those eyeballs disappear. And that's the fixed navigation background right there. It's just switching from that first image to the second image. Like I say, that's not obvious how to do that with the default primary menu. Like I said, of course, if you've got a custom one up there, you can just use the background to do that. So I hope that's explained that for you today. I'll put that CSS code down below. It's very easy. And obviously you'll have to put your URLs in there and position it how you want to position yours. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you have any questions, pop them below the video. I'll do my best to answer them for you, or make a little demo video just like this one. So once again, this has been Jamie from System 22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.